I acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land in which we are gathered today, and I pay respect to their elders both past and present. And what an amazing location this would have been prior to white settlement. We can always reflect on the people, the Aboriginal people of Torres Strait Islander people, and the pristine landscape, the bushland, the wetlands, the ocean itself that they lived on and lived in and sustained themselves for over 40,000 years. I'm very pleased to be here to talk briefly about the Eco Shark Barrier that is currently being reinstalled at Coogee Beach. The City of Cockburn, we were voted in 2012 Australia's most sustainable city. Coogee Beach itself in 2011 was identified as Western Australia's friendliest family beach, and so it's a great location for families to be there throughout the year, although most people tend, as you know, come in the spring, summer seasons. The City of Cockburn, we're very progressive in a number of different areas, and while we've been in negotiations with the state government about this particular barrier and its funding with Craig Moss, we continue to deliver very high standards of services to our community. We invest in our community, we listen and importantly hear from our community about what they see and what they want in their community. I was yesterday afternoon at a children's reference group, so children aged between 4 and 10 years of age, who are meeting regularly as a reference group, talking about what they see as the challenges, the opportunities for them in the City of Cockburn. And we have another group of teenagers, and we have another group from 18 to 24-year-olds who also contribute, as well as our senior groups, etc., etc. And last Saturday we actually won the West Australian Award for the most age-friendly city in Western Australia. So we're always doing very good things, but it's important to hear and listen to the community. And as I said earlier, we've been engaged with the state government about this barrier along with Craig Moss for 15, 18 months or longer now. So just to give you some idea, if those of you who haven't been to Coogee Beach, I highly recommend it to you to come along. That's the barrier that was in place last summer. And the barrier is located just south of Port Coogee and just north of the actual jetty at Coogee Beach itself. 300 metres long by 75 metres out from the shoreline. And it attracted people from all over the Perth metropolitan area, which was quite amazing. My wife and I are regularly down there at the beach now with our grandchildren, and people from as far north as Wanneroo, Joondalup, down to Mandurah, out to Armidale, Gosnells were coming down there because of the peace of mind, as they prefer to call it. So it's ideally located, and of course it gives another choice to people. They can come down and swim within the barrier. The swimming lessons are held down there during the school vacation period itself, but it does give people another choice. Interestingly, we have the Coogee Jetty that's held each year through the local Rotary Club and the partnership with the city, and people are doing laps between the jetties, 1,500 metres back and forward. But a lot of those people now, when the barrier's in place, they actually swim in there because they say there's one less thing they have to worry about while they're doing their laps. So they're in there, some do up to 15 to 20 laps each day. It's quite amazing. And of course, it avoids having nets, which we can just see there visually, some of the impacts of nets. And our city certainly would not have supported nets at all. The Eco Shark Barrier came up as a very, very good alternative. A local small business, and our city, along with most local governments, are strong supporters of small business and industry as well. It's well anchored to the seafloor, and while we were confident when the trial was conducted last summer that we would move forward with a barrier into the future, initially our council were concerned about the cost, but then the wave of community support came through and we decided that we would continue to or fund the Eco Shark Barrier, not for one summer but over 3 continuous years, so that we could understand, and also the manufacturer understand how the barrier stood up to the different seasons, and that was an important aspect of their marketing of the product itself. And as you can see, it's very marine friendly. And during the whole process of it being in the water for about 4 months, there was no bycatch at all, and no complaints from the community at all, and we had great feedback. So no injuries of any kind were reported, no entrapment of marine animals, no significant maintenance required, no accretion or erosion issues were there, and there was no seaweed or sort of flotsam that was caught in the barrier itself, and no reported incidents with boats, canoes or other watercraft, because as you saw in the earlier photographs, clearly visible from a distance with the yellow floats, and we're looking forward to that going back in the water as we speak now. And of course, universal acceptance of the barrier by regular, occasional and new visitors to the beach. And as I said, people came from all over the Perth metropolitan area, which was amazing. And even some people brought their visitors from the UK across and from Europe just to show them what was happening down at the Coogee Beach itself. And of course, it gives people a choice, and a lot of people don't swim inside the Eco Shark Barrier area, but a lot of people do. As I said, the state for the school vacation swimming lessons are conducted there. And of course, our city conducted a number of perception surveys, or independent surveys they were, and of course, the overall result was people were very, very pleased with the barrier, uncertain about the cost, and now that's been identified for our city in terms of the future, and we've had more hits on our website, more on our blog and Facebook than we've had about any other subject at all to do with whatever the city's actually doing. And of course, thousands of individual comments that have been made. So current actions, we've agreed to install a barrier. It's going in now, due to be completed before the end of this month itself. We're going through the necessary lease agreement with Eco Shark Barriers Proprietary Limited. The biggest frustration is working through the government departments and agencies trying to get them to sign off, even though the barrier was in the water last summer. We're going through this long drawn-out process, which we hope will be concluded in the next week. Now, we've been, as I said earlier, chasing the state government about funding. We were advised late yesterday afternoon that while the government did talk about the potential to fund barriers or nets at 22 locations along the West Australian coast, that there will be no funding at all provided by the state government for the Eco Shark Barrier at Coogee Beach, nor at any other beach on the West Australian coast, which I find absolutely appalling. They have all agreed to fund a net at Busselton.
That's correct.
So that's for the next 2 years, $100,000 for each of the next 2 years. And they couldn't give any explanation as to why they would not co-fund with the City of Cockburn. I did say to the Premier and the Minister at different times that it would make a very positive media event for them and our city. So we'll go along now with Craig to continue to promote the Eco Shark Barrier, get all the very positive publicity that's necessary, just to say to people out there, come down to Coogee Beach, and knowing that you're swimming, just recreating within this Eco Shark Barrier location, and bring your family, bring your friends, and importantly tell everybody anywhere in Australia and across the world that this has happened at Cockburn, the City of Cockburn, and we're getting on with the job. We're not waiting, and we've agreed to fund it. We thought the government would come on as partners, but they haven't. So we'll continue to support the barrier, and and ensure that we provide feedback to our community as we do the assessment, as will Craig Moss, and we'll provide regular feedback, and then we'll be inviting feedback from our community as well. So a great initiative, and looks like we'll be the only location in Western Australia this summer with a barrier, and there'll be a net down south, so it'll be up to the other local governments now to stand up to see whether they're going to fund it themselves, because the state government's clearly said no money available, and we can't understand that, but still we live in interesting times, as they say. So thank you very much for the opportunity.